you don't have the right to be
No.
upset. If you're going to be upset, you can take that, like you said, to fuel what you do next.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's actually really useful.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. We are back. I am Coach Jay, here with
Coach Katie.
and
Coach Wendy.
Coach Rebecca.
we wanted to talk today about competition because Coach Wendy is fresh off of the what is it? Quarterfinal or semifinal? I forget what it's called.
Quarterfinals.
Quarterfinal? Yeah. So the quarterfinal qualifying workouts, which is like the next level of the CrossFit Games Open. And 2-3 weeks ago, we just finished the Games Open. We haven't really talked about it. And so the subject of today, we had a couple of working titles, but like, I don't know what to do when you get your ass handed to you or something like that.
No, it's like, what do you do when you think you're hot shit?
Yeah.
And you get your ass handed to you?
Yeah, exactly. What do you do when you think you're hot shit and you get your ass handed to you?
Yeah.
Or, AKA, how we think about competition. How about that?
Right.
Katie and I did the quarterfinals workouts with you,
Yeah.
and they were all really hard.
Yes.
Like, they were all really hard. Like, even the first workout was like, we started with handstand walks or something, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like that was the second movement.
Yeah.
The first movement was like super heavy squats.
Right.
And then handstand walks. And the second one we had to do those like crossovers.
Crossover. Yeah.
And then the third one we had to do a clean and jerk that was like well beyond your 1 rep max. You got a new 1 rep max, by the way.
I did.
Well done on that.
I did. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
And it was just like workout after workout would just like kicked our ass.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And it was really interesting because it was the first time I've ever done those workouts because I didn't really care what happened after the Open.
Right.
But it reminded me of like the first time I started at a CrossFit gym
Yep.
where I
Yeah.
couldn't do anything.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, they're asking me to do something that I just cannot do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like walking into the workout. We were walking in thinking, well, maybe today's the day.
Yeah. yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
trying to stay optimistic and positive. And I think that's actually a lot of people's experience when they do this. It's like the workout is like, I don't know, wall balls and then double unders. It's like, I don't know how to do double
Yeah.
unders.
Yeah.
And then you got to do pull-ups. And it's like, I don't have pull-ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even though you might have been doing this for years.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really curious for both of you. How did that feel? Like, just, looking at something and going, I won't be able to do it.
Yeah, I was talking to Rebecca earlier. I felt like I was doing this for the first time, or when I was doing my very first workout here for the very first time. And it's just, and I was telling her, it's not that the workouts that we do, every day doesn't challenge me, but I know what's coming. So
Yeah.
I know, how to handle myself in the workouts. But in this territory, I'm like, I felt very tiny, right?
Yeah.
Very tiny. And I got challenged for every single workout. I got challenged to the point that I was stuck. I was pretty much stuck for every single workout.
Yeah.
The first workout was like a dumbbell lunges, snatches, and then the crossover jumps.
Yeah.
I've never done those in my life.
Yeah.
So I struggled. Like I was doing 1 rep at a time at the beginning, and I was feeling like frustrated, like lost, silly too, and then just like, all over the place. The second one, I got 5 front squats, and then for the rest of the workout, I just try to get a handstand walk.
Yeah.
So got stuck again, right? And then the third one, I think it was the rope climb one.
No, there's a clean and jerk.
Oh, the clean and jerk. That's
Yeah.
right. I want to forget about that too.
Yeah.
Never did that workout.
Yeah.
Same thing, right? I like 185 is like, it's maybe, well, now it's like 10 pounds under my, or over my clean and jerk.
Yeah.
So it was more so maybe today is a day that I'll get 185.
You got really close.
Yeah.
I did. And then, the other two, I do have a favorite one, which is the deadlift one. It was like the only one that I finished.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the rest, what is it? But that one, I felt like more like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
Like I don't suck that much, right?
Yeah.
And then like the last workout that I did, let's not even talk about that because I'm still like destroyed from that from
Yeah.
that workout.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But one thing that I did learn is that for every single workout, I got a lot of feedback, right? I got a lot of feedback and I got challenged. And I don't really get challenged like this, for every single workout that I do here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I I loved it, although it like hurt my ego a little bit, you know, and I got like frustrated, nervous, all the feelings. I'm looking forward to work on these things that I struggled with. And I think this is what drives me to work my ass off every day when I come to the gym. So I have like things to look forward to and things that I want to hit now for the rest of the year.
Yeah. When you say you got a lot of feedback, what do you mean by that? Like coaching, or just like, oh man, I didn't know I could do that, or
both actually. Yeah, both. So, you know, with the feedback that I got is, one, I do have to work on handstand walks. Like that's something, and this is what I tell my clients, right? When they're struggling with a specific movement, like, well, the only way to get it is if you practice. Have I practiced handstand walk? No. So I don't deserve to have a handstand walk because I have not put in the work. Right. So that's one thing that I need to do. Second thing, it's with my Olympic lifting, right? We talked about, me and you, we talked about this. Like we have the strength, but technique needs a lot of work, right? And that's something that I need to work on.
Yeah.
And then what was the second thing? I forgot what we said.
No, I mean, it was more like, did you get coaching? Or
Yeah. So I learned a lot. I think it also, I can see myself where my fitness is at the moment, right?
Yeah.
This was also my very first time making it to the second round too. So, you know, for the most part, I think I want to say I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you didn't walk away from that experience feeling like, oh, I suck at everything.
No, I mean, even to make it to the second round, like you do need to do good in the first round, right? So I even feel proud about that. Like I was able to even make it to that second round. Yeah. And it's my first time that I actually make it to the second round. So that's already a win for me. So I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really interesting. It's really important. Like you're actually, these workouts kind of kicked your ass.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
They totally kicked my ass.
But the way you're thinking about it is, well, I'm just happy to be here.
Oh yeah,
and
for
also
sure.
it kind of exposed a few things that if you want to continue to progress, that you might need to work on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was just happy that I was able to, you know, do the second round of workouts.
How did you feel during that? I mean, I know it wasn't your qualifier,
No,
but it was like
it was
we did
fun.
the workouts. And,
It's fun to do it alongside Wendy. I mean, it was mad humbling, I think, you know, to get faced with movements, or for me, it was mostly weights that like just weren't going to happen. And, but in some ways, you know, so that's also super motivating for me. And even like last year, quarterfinals, I remember there was a workout with a 135-pound snatch. Like I wasn't even close, but it actually like motivated my training the whole year. Was like, I don't really care if I don't, you know, I just want to be able to do all of those workouts, like have a shot and like do the movements or whatnot. Yeah. And it was like every day that I was training snatch deadlifts or snatch technique, it was like, I was thinking about that 135 that I couldn't lift in that quarterfinals workout. So it's like, it has been useful for me as like something to shoot for. And I think that was, cause in the moment, in the day, I don't have like delusions of grandeur. Like I'm suddenly going to get like a 30-pound clean and jerk PR. Like probably not going to happen. And so in the day, like what am I looking for? Like how am I going to succeed in this workout? Like what's a win going to be? It's like, well, I'll like give it my best shot, right? I'll try to hit something heavy for me today. Yeah. Great. And like move on and learn something from it. But for me, like the bigger motivation is like, ooh, okay, I've gotten to this level now. And now I'm looking at this other level that's out of my reach right now. Yeah. What is it going to take for me to kind of get to that point? Yeah. But as far as like immediate nerves around workouts, I actually generally have more immediate nerves around workouts where it's all things that I know I'm pretty good at. And so it's like, okay, now there's like pressure to perform.
Yeah. I definitely personally going through and doing these workouts, the only one that I was really nervous about was the one that it was like, oh, do your 1 rep max for like multiple reps.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I mean, I might be able to do it. Yeah. But I'm not sure if it's gonna happen that day. Yeah. Right. So it was like 275 clean and jerk. The other ones, the handstand walk, it's like, I mean, if you don't put in the work, you don't deserve the results, right? Yeah. So I'm like, am I going to do 25-foot handstand walk? Yeah. Probably not. Yeah. I'll try it for a little while. Yeah. Yeah. And am I going to do it 9 times? Hell no. And that's not being negative. I've never done 5 foot of handstand walk. So it's like unlikely that I would magically balance myself differently.
Yeah.
But like, I do think that it's those ones where you're like, maybe. And I think you were nervous around that one too, the clean and jerk one. Cause like you kind of haven't, I think you got 185 sometime, but it's just not there yet.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what that was what I was nervous about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so those first 3 workouts, very confronting. On that crossover thing, we had to do 40 of those. I got 1 rep.
Oh,
I got 1 rep. I spent 12 minutes attempting crossovers.
No way.
I had so many welts on my legs.
That's why you were mad.
Yeah. I wasn't, I mean, how could I be mad?
Yeah,
I was just like, well, this is just stupid. I got 1 rep. I got 2 in the warm up. So I thought, I'll figure this out.
Yeah.
I didn't.
No. Yeah.
So yeah, that was not great. We might need to work on that because we have some more qualifiers coming up. But I think, and the reason I wanted to bring this up is like, this is stuff that everybody faces.
Correct.
And it doesn't have to be competition. It can just be a regular workout like today where you have to do squat cleans at, 115 and the coach is up front saying, okay, this should be like a medium weight. And you're like, 115 is, right up, to the heaviest I've ever lifted. And I'm not sure how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting to hear kind of how you all think about these things when they happen, after they happen, et cetera. Rebecca, when you are faced with something like that, like how do you approach it?
So when I'm faced with a workout where I'm not sure
if you can even do it. Yeah.
I don't attack it as much as so there's that bar muscle up and deadlift workout that we had during the 12 days. And, whenever there's gymnastics, I'm like, all right, we'll see what happens. But my probably will see what happens. It's more like, I'm not going to do this. And so I'll kind of half-ass the workout. And, in that situation, luckily I had people who weren't really letting me half-ass it, mostly because Katie, finished it in the time it took me to do the heavy deadlifts. But yeah, I'm someone who, when I know I have a weakness, I like to kind of go into my little hole and work on it on my own and know that, okay, I'm not going to be confronted with it in this workout. I'm not going to make myself feel bad that I'm not going to be able to do it. But now I know I need to work on this more. So yeah, I don't know. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, no, that does. And I think that's one of those things where it's like, it's not like a weight, like, hey, this is 10 pounds more than I can lift. And maybe it will happen if everything is perfect. It's more like, I've never done that, or I've only done it once my whole life. How, is that going to happen today? I mean, I'll at least give it an attempt. And that's really that. I mean, it sounds like that's the approach, but you're also not like, okay, I'm going to put all this pressure on myself to like get a new, PR today.
I think I've been doing this long enough now, and I've had enough disappointments in those situations where, I mean, I can like think of specific opens where, I'm like, I'm going to hit that heavy clean weight, and I get stuck at the rig doing toes to bar.
Yeah.
And, or, I get stuck doing chest to bar when I really wanted to do the snatch weight.
Yeah.
And, at the time, I was like really pissed off and like, the chest to bars didn't click that day, or I usually have toes to bar. But at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, I spent literally 90% of the year snatching and doing clean and jerks, and I spent 10% doing the rest.
Yes.
So I'm finally at a point now where I can acknowledge that, if bar muscle ups come up in a workout, like maybe this year I spent a little bit more time, but really I've spent the last 2 months putting in effort.
Yeah.
It's very small compared to the course of the year. Now, next year, if I continue to, keep working and not do the thing I normally do, where I go back to the corner and start lifting again, then I'm allowed to be disappointed if that doesn't come up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But right now, like I didn't earn the right to be upset that I didn't do a muscle up. So that's kind of where I'm at with heavy lifts or gymnastics or higher skill movements. Like, or even, I worked actually pretty hard on my conditioning this year, because last year I sucked at the burpees over the bar, the deadlifts. Deadlifts, I flew through it. Burpees, I don't want to say I sucked, because I did better than some. But in my mind, I should have done better. And I thought back, I'm like, I still lifted all year. I like, you know, the workouts where there were burpees, I'm just like, okay, what am I going to do? Burpees. So I actually forced myself to do more burpees and forced myself to do more conditioning.
Yeah, I love that. I actually heard a quote, this was this morning, and it was like, you know, the thing that's better than confidence is evidence, right? And so it's like, if you've done 1,000 bar muscle ups, then when it comes up in a workout, you'll be able to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
If you've done 3, then maybe,
Yeah. Right.
maybe you'll
right.
get it, maybe you won't. And you don't actually have the right to be confident about something that you don't have evidence about.
That's interesting.
And so if you want to build confidence, you have to build that
Right.
evidence, like do the work, do the extra burpees so that your conditioning is better, right? And I think one of the things that's really nice, and it's also confronting about doing these kind of workouts, is you reveal, oh yeah, I haven't been working on my conditioning this year. Oh, right. All those times I said I was going to do like extra work on my Oli lifts, I didn't do it. And that's why my 1 rep max is the same as it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when I was doing the handstand walk workout. I was like, I remember Katie saying, "You need to practice every day.
Remember
you need to
that?
yeah, because they're like, you need to practice being confident, like falling down." And I was like, I didn't do that.
Yeah, just like, oh, damn, she's right.
Yeah, no. So I did not get upset about anything because
you don't have the right to be
No.
upset.
Yeah.
You can if you're going to be upset, you can take that, like you said, to fuel what you do next.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's actually really useful. Like I think it's really useful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say too, like sometimes it is helpful to like fuel the thing that you want to do. But we were even chatting, like watching some of the competitors at this gym that we went to do those quarterfinals workouts were just complete beasts. I mean, they were amazing athletes. And it's like, and sometimes you can look at that and be like, yeah, I want that. And then also sometimes you can look at it and be like, actually, I don't actually want to do what it takes to get to that level. Like, I'm actually cool, like, getting better at this pace where, okay, I'm, like, steadily getting better, but I'm not putting all this pressure on myself.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, like, nice to be able to kind of play with that a little bit in your mind, too. Like, do I really want that? Do I really want to snatch 135? Like, yeah, I really do. Okay, I'm going to put the work in it. Do I really want to be a full-time competitive athlete? Like, actually, no, there are other important things in my life, too. So...
Yeah.
It's like not getting too attached to like seeing somebody else to the extent that like, you feel like you should be there or,
It's their goals. And you can't make other people's goals your goals.
Right.
And I will say, so one year there was a GHD sit-up workout. I think it was 2 years ago. And I'm fortunate now to have the GHD in my home. So I did the workout, and I probably similar to you, like my abs were just done, and I'm like, I'm gonna do GHDs every single day. I'm gonna desensitize my abs to these things, and I did it for, maybe 2 weeks. And then I'm like, this is really stupid. Like, this is so dumb. Like, I'm going to maybe do this again next year. Like, when am I going to do this again? And so, I mean, that's an exaggeration, but going back to what Katie said, like, yes, it would be cool to walk 25 feet on your hands.
Yeah.
But you could also use that time to work up to 200-pound clean and jerk. It's like, what is more important this year? And, the thing is,
all of it.
that, I mean, I don't know how old some of these people were. Some of them were masters athletes, but like in the previous gym I worked at, they were college kids and they could spend hours at the gym.
Yeah.
And so while it would be nice to say like, I'm going to work on gymnastics and weightlifting and then bust out a conditioning piece afterwards, the reality is that, we have families, we have jobs, we have like other things that we want to do.
Excuses.
You're right. Guys, I quit. I'm going to pursue my dream to be a professional.
There's a couple of things in here. Like, so this is another confronting thing. We went to another gym that had a whole room full of like amazing athletes.
Yeah.
Like all of them, at our level or way above. Like, they have a lot of names
Game
names
athletes.
on the board. couple of things. One is they were really nice.
Yeah.
They were like super, super nice. There was no egos there. That was really cool.
Very welcoming.
Extremely
Always
welcoming.
helpful, super helpful with everything, setting up and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we felt like we were good there. Yeah.
The music needed some work, but whatever. But like, they were super nice. And also like that, that helps, but you still do feel a little bit of that like intimidation. And I remember when I walked in and I walked over, I saw you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what are you doing? And what did you say?
Trying to get a feel of this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a little scary to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that feel for you all walking into that place?
For me, it was great because I was able to watch them. And I mean, like Katie said, they're like a total beast. Like, I mean, people were flying through those workouts and like getting 3 rounds on that 20-minute AMRAP. I'm over here like struggling to get one done. It's just like amazing. Like I love seeing that.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's like, I felt very small compared to those, and not because I'm tiny already, but more so because those guys, they're like their fitness is like way more than where
there
we're
was
at.
someone smaller than you there though.
No.
Yeah, she was the older lifting coach.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, she was legit.
That's right. She holds world records too.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's right. I totally forgot. Yeah.
Who's the weightlifting coach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is it?
What's her name again?
I don't
I
remember.
forgot her name, but she holds world records, and she's the one
Rachel? I don't know. I don't remember
Yeah,
her name.
yeah.
Anyways.
We have to look her up. She was super sweet.
We're gonna Google you.
But yeah, no, I felt very nervous.
Yeah.
Very nervous. Very intimidating too. And again, like I don't feel like that, every day when I'm here, right?
Yeah.
So this is where I think personally I need some of this stuff too as well. And not because I want to make it, to the games or anything like that, but it's more so like, oh, that's right. That's what it feels like, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what a
So
lot of people feel like when they come in here.
Yeah,
That's
so it's a good reminder of what people go through when they first walk in here, right? And when they first do a very first workout, right? So it's like, I appreciate that feeling.
It is so scary. Like you're walking into a gym where everyone is like a super athlete and like, you're going to do something maybe you haven't done for like 9 months. You're going to work out and like some unfamiliar movement where you're going to put a bar on your shoulder. You never touched a barbell before.
Yeah.
Mad respect for anyone who walks into this place and does their first workout. It's really, really hard to do that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It was exciting. I found it to be really exciting. Like, and it reminded me of like one of the reasons I love competing. And that's just that like the stakes are raised. Like I was definitely nervous walking in there. Like I could feel that like the butterflies, but I know like I did better. I performed better there. Like I pushed harder there than I think I would have in other situations. And like, that's to me is like why I do it. It's just like, trying to kind of find your own, push your own kind of comfort level and all of that. And all that happened.
Yeah. Also, when you're doing a workout and Alessandro Pacelli is giving you like tips, like, hey, do 10 bar muscle ups to start and then do 10 and 5. Just like, thanks, boss.
That's good. Thank you. I got it. Sure. Oh my God.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like, okay, great. So the last question I kind of wanted to touch on here is something that Katie asked me kind of afterwards. And she was saying it's kind of one thing to get to like, okay, the point you're a really good athlete at our gym, but what does it take to actually get to be a competitive level athlete? And the reason I wanted to kind of bring this up is because I think it's relevant for everyone here. So at our other gym, former gym, the one we had in London, we had 5 CrossFit Games winners train with us at some point, right? So, Rich Froning, Thor's daughter, like a bunch of people, 5 of them, right? And some of them came more than others, and when you would watch them, you would see the difference between the ones who won and the ones who didn't. And it was like, you could see it in an individual workout. Like they would train for like 3-4 days and you would see what they would do. And it was really, really interesting. The thing that I noticed most of all was the very best ones, like when something got uncomfortable, they leaned into it. They're like, okay, that sucked. Why did that suck? I want to find out, why did that suck? I want to get better at that thing, right? And the ones that were like up there, but like maybe not the winners, they got real upset at themselves if they sucked at something. And I just thought that was really, really interesting to see. The best ones were the most calm, right? Because they're just like, okay, I got some feedback here. This was not great. I tried a 185 clean and jerk and I could not get it. I tried it 5 times. Okay, so what does this tell me? Okay, I need to work on clean and jerk, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I actually think that the answer to how you become a competitive games athlete is the same as how do you get better here at Hale Fitness, which is just like do all of the things, right? And then the things that you are not good at, lean into them. Don't lean away, right? Yeah. If you want to be a competitive athlete, you have to get better at all of those things, right? If you just want to be a gymnast, you got to get better at all the gymnastics. You just want to be a lifter, just get better at the lifts. But what you can't do is go, man, I suck at that thing. Either you're going to avoid it or, hey, I'm going to put in work this year, and then you don't.
Yeah.
Right. It's just kind of leaning into that stuff, asking the questions, doing the things that you need to do. And I just see from a competitive standpoint, the best ones are the ones that just continue to do that. It's like the mentality, the actual training, the actual like workouts they do. I don't think they're that important.
No.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you need to practice stuff.
Right.
But like, does it matter whether you do 7 workouts in a day or 5 workouts in a day?
I think that's what most people think, right?
Yeah.
These athletes that they are like, and then probably some days they do maybe 2 workouts, 3 workouts, but like, I think most people, they think, oh, they're doing like, a whole entire day of just lifting and training.
Yeah.
And
some of them do.
Yeah.
Right. And that's legit. And look, if you want to win the games as a professional athlete, you probably get paid, $500,000,
Right.
million. It's worth it.
Right.
Right. But like most people don't want to win the games. If you want to make it to the games, do you need to train 7 times a day? Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
Not really. No.
So anyways, do we answer what to do when you get your ass handed to you
and I
in a
think
workout?
I would just like, I guess the one thing that I would add too is like, it's not even just a matter of like doing the things that you're not so great at, but it's like, what is the mindset with which you approach it, right? Like, because it's one thing to like do it and like complain and hate every minute of it, right? And then it's like another thing to like also like love that part of it more than anything. Yeah. And to me, it seems like those are the folks who get the farthest. Is like the folks who just like love digging into that stuff. And like love exposing their own like weaknesses and challenging themselves that way. Because if you hate it, or you're prone to like complaining or blame, it's like you might do it, but it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean these guys will just hire coaches. Rich Froning couldn't swim one of the years and like totally tanked one of the events, and then had to like learn how to swim for the next year if he was going to win, and just like. Yeah, that you lean into just being really uncomfortable doing that thing. So, anyways, did we answer the question? What you do when you get your ass handed to you in a workout when you think you're hot shit?
You're cool shit.
Turns out you're just cold shit.
I feel cool shit.
I think the answer is don't think you're hot shit.
Stay humble.
Yeah.
Be like Kendrick.
Yeah. All right.
And with Lamar.
Yeah.
What other Kendrick were you thinking of?
There's Kendrick Ferris, the lifter.
Oh yeah, be like, is he vegan? Is that the vegan guy?
I don't know.
Yeah, be like the vegan lifter. Yeah. Anyways, all right. Thank you all for listening. We will see you next time. Have a fantastic day.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, we've got plenty of others. Go check out this one over here.